Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this webinar, SPSS and Excel for undergraduate researchers. We are about to commence now, and I would like those of us who are already present on the platform to comment on the comment section. I want you to signify your department, your institution, and your level as well. So thank you very much as you do that. I also want you to please support us by following this page, this YouTube channel, and also click on the notification button so that whenever we are having a webinar like this or a seminar or a video concerning how to use SPSS for research purposes and other media usage, you can also be the first to get our videos. Now, thank you for joining. On the platform, I've shared the materials that we are going to be using today. I've shared the questionnaire, and I've also shared the SPSS sample that I'm going to be using for this seminar. So thank you very much for tuning in, for joining, and I assure you that this webinar is going to be uh, a very interesting one for us as communicators and social scientists. We will learn how to use it fundamentally without stressing ourselves. Like I said last week, SPSS is a statistical package for social sciences. We use it majorly for data analysis and interpretation, right? We use it for yes, thank you. We use it for data analysis. I've shared the link in the group, so I want you those of us who are on the WhatsApp platform to please share this link to others whom you think will benefit from it. Now let us start with the questionnaire I shared on the platform. So let us all look at the questionnaire, the topic, because the first assignment we need to pass is to understand the instrument we want to use. Okay, I've shared the instrument, right? Okay, let me do that right away. Is to understand it. I think I've shared it. Okay, let me do that. So let's hold on, please. Because I want us to see how to actually work with all these tools. So I want to share the questionnaire with us so that you can see the template. Or let me share my screen. Let me share my screen so that I will not waste your time. Let me share my screen so that you can see what I'm also seeing. And I will also share the questionnaire as well. Now, this is the questionnaire. This is the research instrument that you are going to be using, and the title of the project or of the research is assessment of the Kick Malaria Out radio program on malaria prevention in selected rural communities in Ogun State. And that is the title of the research. And if you can see in this research, what we want to look at is this is not real, because I don't know if you have any program titled Kick Malaria Out, but it's a program for this study that you are going to be using for this study, and you want to assess the influence of this kick malaria out uh, on people's preventive measures for malaria. And I have these research questions to determine the frequency of exposure of residents to the kick malaria out radio program in the selected rural communities, right? Let me see if I can share this questionnaire with you so that you can also access it. I will also want you to use this questionnaire for your own analysis. Please just give me a minute. I want to share the questionnaire with us so that you can see. And I will also put all the questionnaires and the instrument that I used on the YouTube link, so that those of us that will be watching via YouTube will also be able to download and look at the templates. Okay. Okay, I will share it in a bit now. But let's go on. So I said the first question is to determine the level of frequency, the frequency of exposure of residents to kick malaria out radio program, to assess the influence of kick malaria out, to evaluate, kick malaria out on the residents' knowledge of malaria prevention method, to evaluate the extent to which the kick malaria out radio program has influenced malaria prevention practices among residents of selected rural communities in Ogun State, to identify the challenges affecting the effectiveness of kick malaria out radio program or malaria prevention in selected rural communities in Ogun State. Now I have these two hypotheses to test whether there is a significant relationship between exposure to kick malaria out radio program and awareness of malaria prevention among residents of selected rural communities in Ogun State, and also to check if the kick malaria out program does influence malaria prevention practices among selected. Yeah, so I want to check if the exposure equals to awareness about prevention method, and also to check if the kick malaria out program influences malaria prevention practices. So those are the things I want to check. Now I have this questionnaire. For the first session, I have the demographic information, which includes the age, the gender, the marital status, the educational qualification, and the occupation of those people that will be filling the questionnaire. And I also have section B, exposure to radio program. So I want to check how, if they have heard of the kick malaria radio program, out radio program, how often, the frequency of exposure. I want to check the knowledge of malaria prevention. I also want to check malaria prevention practices among them, and I also want to check the perceived effectiveness and the challenge faced. Those are the things we want to check. Now let us move down to SPSS. You see, I'm starting everything from the scratch so that it will not be that um you didn't get one step or the other. So I will just go to my SPSS software. I've shared the document with us on our page, so you can go and look at it from there. For those of us that are using our system, but if you are not using your system, I will do it sideways. As I explain on SPSS, I will also explain using Excel. So for those of us who will be using our mobile phone to do the analysis, we can also get it. Now let's wait while the SPSS open. I don't know why it's hanging. So let me try to open it again. Okay, it's already opening. I will share the materials on the platform so that you can all see it. Now, okay, I want to open the data set I sent earlier on. Now, now if you look at the questionnaire I gave to us earlier on, we have some variables in it. Let me put them side by side so that I can see. We have some items in it, and those items will influence what we are going to be doing now. Now, let's start from the beginning. This is the questionnaire, and on the questionnaire we have age of the respondent. So on my SPSS, I've shared it with you so that it will not take our time. That's why I'm doing it that way. So, and I also drop it on the page, also on the YouTube page. For the age, I have the age here on the name of the variable, right? Numeric. So label is very, very important for us to label the variable. So which is here I put age of the respondent. So the value, this is where the work is. Now for the value here, now I have 18 to 25 years. That is the first value. Second value is 26 to 35 years. The third value is 36 to 45 years. The fourth value is 46 to 55 years. While the fifth value is 56 years upward. Now for the first value I put 1, 18 to 25 years, right? You just, all you have to do is you just type 1, just like the way I'm doing it now. You can see my screen, 1, and then I will type the information of the value here, 18 to 25 years, right? Then I will click on add. Let me add one. Let me just create one like 6 now. 67, 57 to 80 years, just like that. Then you click on add, and that's how to do it. Let me remove it. You can also remove, and you can also change. Like this one, you can change. Just edit it here, and it will come out as, do you want to change it? Then you click on change. But now that is what I want to have it there. Then I have on gender. So the gender is male and female. Male is 1, female is 2. So I've not done this one. Then I'm going to do it now. 1, I'll just put male. After letter male, add. Number 2, female, add, and that is it. Then you click on OK. You click on OK, and you are done, and that is it. So you repeat this style. So for education, for marital status, you, here now I have marital status is 1, single, 2, married, 3, divorced, 4, widow, just like that. So it's just like you press 1 in the value here, and then you put the value of the first one, which is single. You type it in the label. You type single, SINGLE, like that, in the variable label. Then you click on add, but I've already done it here. You can change, you can edit. Let's say I want to change now. You have to click on 1, then you remove. If you want to edit, just edit it straight. I can put S there. You can see it bring out the change, and you click on change. If I want to change it back, then I will delete the S and I will change it back. Then you click on OK. So for educational qualification, you see 1 is no education, just like it is on the questionnaire. 2 is primary. 3 is secondary. 4 is tertiary, right? Just like that. Then we move down to click on OK. Then you move down to, you can see for the name, just put age, gender, just one word, marital status, education, oku for occupation. So in your label, that is where you will express yourself, so that you will know what you are talking about. So name, marital status, educational qualification of the respondent, occupation of the respondent, awareness of the program. That's how you go about it. Then you move to section B. section B. So please, as you are joining us, kindly do well to follow this page. It will go a long way in assisting us to do more of this type of content and webinar for you. So thank you very much and God bless. Now for section B, I want to check exposure to radio program, right? So in terms of frequency and awareness scale, right? Now have you heard of the kick malaria out radio program? You cannot put this entire statement here. So what I just did is that I put S1, at least ESP1, exposure 1. So here in the label, that is where I will explain myself that this S1 is about awareness of the program. Right, I want to check whether the respondents of the study are actually aware of the program. I mean, that they know of the program. Then I type yes or no. That is the response here. Yes or no. Right? Then okay. Then how often do you listen to the program? Then I have for the now you can see that okay, I don't think this is the, how often do you listen to the program? Yes, this is not correct. How often do you, it should be always, often, sometimes and never. Let's correct this. So number one is always, always change, and you change it. Number two, I want to correct it to often change. Number three, sometimes change. Number four, never. Never change. Then you click on OK. For those of us who are just joining, I want to give us about 10 seconds to follow this page, and so that um, drop a comment in the comment section stating your institution, your department and your level. Thank you very much as you do that. Now thank you very much for doing that. So let's continue just like the way we were doing before. um so you repeat the same method for the knowledge. This is for the exposure. So knowledge of malaria prevention. So I just, which implies knowledge one. Only have 5 questions on the item. The knowledge has improved my knowledge. So knowledge one. Knowledge malaria prevention. Then my understanding of malaria transmission. So strong. So in the variable, just like that, the program has improved. uh, Program has increased understanding of malaria transmission. That is what will be in the value, in the label. So in the value, I will then have strongly agree, strongly disagree. I strongly agree as one, two agree, three disagree, four strongly disagree. Right? In the knowledge, in the knowledge two. So in the question 3, then I understand malaria prevention better because of the program. Very high extent, low extent, like that way. You can restructure your question so that it will suit the response. How, to what extent, in that way, to what extent do you understand, or as the program made you understand malaria prevention better, or in any way, so that it can, this high, very high extent can actually fit in. Then I have, the program provides clear health information. Agree, undecided, disagree, and strongly agree, just in that way. So in the label, in the values, you have 1 as agree, 2 undecided, 3 disagree, 4 strongly agree, just like that. And you do the same thing for this number 4 and number 5. Now, I told you the other time that I have 2 hypotheses that I want to test. It will not be tidy enough for you to use one item on the questionnaire to test your hypothesis. Let's say you want to test their knowledge, and you now ask them, are you aware of it, or you are not aware of it. It's better to test the extent of their knowledge. Like, you ask them, how frequently are they exposed to the program, so all those things. Like, now you have to do that. If you want to test hypothesis, you must have this also with it. So what you have to do is to go to compute variables, here, and I will still discuss that in module 3, how to do that, how to do all this very well. So compute variable, in the hypothesis, we want to test whether knowledge influences the practice of malaria prevention. Knowledge from the program, whether the program influences the, whether exposure to the program, rather, whether the exposure to the program influences their practice of malaria prevention strategy. So what you have to do is to check, to take the knowledge here. What are the variables for knowledge? These are knowledge. This is awareness. These are awareness to the program, frequency of exposure. So you take this one, you take this one, you take exposure to malaria program, you take this one, you take access to the program. I've done it in the sample I sent to the group. So you take this one, first put brackets, take awareness to the program. So let us zoom it out so that you can see it properly. Awareness to the program plus, you want to combine together, plus frequency plus exposure plus radio as plus program plus program. Then you close the bracket, space, divided by, how many variables you have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, divided by 5. Now you have taken 5 items together, and you combine them to find the actual score, right? So you must put the variable name. You have already done it, so you just say exposure to something. Let me just put it as 1 to 2. I want to expo, so I will delete it later, but I've done it before. Expo 1, expo 1, 2, 3, so it will go down. So, and then you click on OK. Then you have a variable that you can use to actually assess a score, that you can use to assess the exposure of those people. So you can use it side by side, exposure and behavior. That where does exposure influences behavior, right? If you want to check that, this is what you now use, rather than taking one variable, one item, rather than taking one item from the questionnaire to test for hypothesis. You check the score, and then that will work better than taking just one. Let me just delete this one. So we have done it. It is on the sample I gave to you. This is exposure. Exposure. So if you want to test our hypothesis now, this is the variable exposure index. This is the variable that we are going to use. So this is the knowledge index and this is the behavior index. These are the variables that we are going to use for our hypothesis. I just want to check whether exposure to it influences or increases influences here. Probably it have significant influence on their knowledge, or whether it also influences behavior. Exposure to knowledge and then to behavior in terms of practice. And that is that about variable view. Let me just go over it once again for the sake of those that are just joining. Now, I said using the questionnaire that we shared, shared, that is to assess. Yeah, thank you. I'm trying to reply to those people who are now. That is to assess the role of a particular program on malaria prevention methods. So I have quite a number of variables on the questionnaire. These are the demographic variable: age, the age of the respondent. In the label you must put it there. Gender, you must also put it there. Marital status, you must put it there. Education, so education and qualification. So, and you must fill this variable, because this value rather, is very, very important, because it will determine what you'll be keying in your data view. And you do that across all the questionnaire you have, right? You do that across all the questionnaires that you have. Let me share the material to the WhatsApp so that we can also see it. I want to share the questionnaire also so that everybody can have access to the study questionnaire. So before we go into the key in the data itself, I want us to try and subscribe to this page and click on the notification button so that whenever we drop any of our content, you all see it. Thank you very much as you do that. I appreciate you all. Now I've sent the material at the questionnaire. I've also shared the template for the SPSS and the data set sample, and I've also shared the Excel sample to the platform. Now let's move down to business, how to key in those variables. Let's say we have shared our questionnaires to these our respondents, and they've actually provided us with their responses. So what you have to do now is, after collecting the questionnaires from them, is to go back to the SPSS after doing this your variable view. After coding this is where the work is, putting the variable, making the variable view perfect, and the whole chunk of the work lies in this your values. Because if you have a wrong value for a particular variable, it will give you wrong answer. So now let us move down to the data view. This is where you can now key in the data. So if you take the questionnaire I shared to the group now, let's say they have answered it, they have they have ticked their responses. Now this particular age is the age of all the participants. This gender represent the gender of all the participants. The same thing with the marital status, educational qualification. As it is like this, it represents the data of all the participants. That is, this marital status represents all. Why this from this side here represent the information provided by one respondent. By each respondent, what you have gotten from each respondent is seen here. Is what you are seeing here. So let's say the first questionnaire, which is questionnaire ID 1, the person put 1. The person ticked. So what you now do is that if the person tick in the age let's say, let me put side by side so that you can see. Let me put them side, the questionnaire vis-a-vis the now, you know, the age represents the age of, this is a questionnaire filled by one respondent. Let's just assume that this is a questionnaire filled by one respondent, and the respondent ticked 18. The respondent ticked 18. That is why we have put 1 here. You just have to type 1, and that is it. Just type 1, then you move straight. You don't go down. You move straight to this side. What is the gender of the respondent? The respondent is a male person. You tick 1. You choose 1. The respondent ticked 2. Married. The respondent is married. You type 2. The respondent choose for the education qualification. The respondent choose 3. So the highest qualification the respondent has is secondary school. You type 3, just like this, and then you leave it alone. Occupation. The respondent choose 1. So the respondent is a farmer. So somebody between 18 to 25 years who happens to be a male person and married and has secondary school certificate and is also a farmer. You can see now. So what usually gives most students out is that when you choose all this one now, the age, male, married, secondary school as highest qualification, and then you have, or probably secondary school as highest qualification, or PhD as highest qualification, and you now choose something that will not correlate, or PhD when the candidate is, when you are talking about people between the ages of 16 and 13 and the person went to go and take PhD, it's erroneous. That's why you have to be truthful and be ethical when you are doing your research. So farming, you can see that the demographic information of the respondent is quite right, even though this is, you know, it's a template, it's a sample. Now this section B, which is assessing the exposure to radio program by the respondent. So we are check, have you heard of kick malaria out radio program? The respondent take yes, right? Yes. Does this respondent qualify to answer this exam? So yes. How often do you listen to the program? 4. You can see now, this is what I'm saying now. You can see what I said about generating data. Now the respondent chose that for this data, you know, I told you earlier that this data is a fake data, is just a sample for learning purposes alone. So the respondent chose yes for listening to the program. I think it's possible to have heard but not listening. That is one. So you can still continue. It's possible for you to know about a program and not listen to the program. That somebody might have told you somewhere that, oh, this program is interesting. So he is aware of the program, but he does not listen to it. So just want to choose never, right? Never. How did you first add? This one will give the respondent out. So all your respondents must qualify, must listen. So for example, for a study like this, all your respondents must actually be, you know, listeners of the program. How often do you listen? How do you first add about the program? You know, how accessible is the program in your area? How often do you? So the responses you are getting from it. So this particular one represents 1. This one represents 2. This one represents 1. This one represents 2 for this question. This one represents 3. This one represents 4. So if the respondent should take this one, you type 4. If the respondent should take this one, like this number 9, you type 1, right? If the respondent should take this one, number 2. So each question has its own value number. That's why I said the value number is very, very important for us to know. When you have your value number and your value number is correct, your value, I mean, not the value number, the value and the numbering to each value. This one, okay, let me go to knowledge. Say this is 1. That 1 means yes. So it is, if the respondent should take 1, it is the one that will now come here to come and take in the variable view, data view session. So all the responses that you got from the questionnaire, you feed them in one after the other, one after the other, one after the other. You feed them in one after, just like this. So let's say you have a new response. You just come here. The respondent is between the ages of 26 to something. You type 2. The respondent is a male. You type 1. The respondent highest qualification is SSCE. Type 3. The respondent is exposed or something. Type 1. The respondent, so you keep on typing like that, and that's not even the beginning of the. So you keep on typing like that, and that's how to go about key in questionnaire into SPSS. Now let us move down to Excel. Let's open the data that I shared with us for Excel sample. I mean the Excel sample one that I shared with us. Just like the same way you have done for SPSS, you can do the same here. But let's start with the data view. Now, for Excel, I have, this is my variable view. This age, value. So I have to type all these things here. That's why I will always advise that you get yourself accustomed with SPSS. Now I have to type all these things here. Value, label, measure, all this one you need to learn them too. I've discussed it last week. Ordinal, nominal, and it's reflecting in my SPSS uh, variable view here. Now, so I type everything. Age, age of the respondent, the value 1 equals to 18 to 25, 2 equals to, and it's an ordinary data. So whenever I'm copying it to, if I'm copying it to the other page, to SPSS, it will not be difficult for me, and everything is well typed in. So knowledge 1, exposure, you can see exposure, occupation, knowledge, knowledge, knowledge. So if you have done this like this, then you just move to, you create another sheet. This is the variable sheet. You can name it as variable sheet. Then you can have data view or data sheet. So just the same way you did for SPSS, this represent all this one represent the age of the respondent, this one represent the gender of the respondent, this one represent the occupation. What is variable 3? 1 2 3. Occupation of the I'm correct. Occupation of the respondent. This one represents the educational qualification, and so on and so forth, like that. So but this particular part like this represents the response of each respondent. It represents the response of each respondent to the questionnaire. So this respondent 1, this is respondent 1, this is respondent 2, this is respondent 3, this is respondent 4, this is respondent 5, respondent 6, respondent 7, respondent 8, respondent 9, 10, and so on and so forth, like that. So respondent 1 is male. His age is 18 to 25. The gender is male. Let me look at the questionnaire. The gender is male. The gender is male. Okay. The gender is male. This is for respondent 1. The gender is male. The marital status is 2, which is married, or yes, he is married. 3, the respondent educational qualification is secondary school, like this. We also choose the number 3, right? 3. Tertiary education, no, you choose 3, which is secondary education. And variable 4, choose 3. 1 2 3 4. Variable 4, you choose 3, yes. Variable 5, you choose 1, which means that respondent is a farmer, and so on and so forth, like that. That's how you feel it. As you feel it based on the responses of the respondent. You feel them based on the responses of the respondent, and so on and so forth, like that. And that is basically how to do it. So when you have done it here like this, what you then have to do is to copy what you have on your Excel to your SPSS. So let me create a new page. So this is a new page like this. So from your Excel sheet, you should start with your variables. So the age, I have the age. So I've copied the age here. I've copied the social demographic variables only. I copied the social demographic variables only. Then you go to SPSS. You paste it. Let me copy it. Okay, it's already on the clipboard. So, and that is it. Then you just can see now that we have all the information, but not the value. The value is not there, and the measure is not there. So that you have to do, and the label. So the label is even still simple. You go back to the SPSS or your questionnaire, there to the Excel. So you copy the label, then you paste it, you paste them in, and okay, paste. You can see. Then you have to start keying the value one after the other. Number one is 18 to 25. 8 to 25 years. Yes, you can put it there. Add. Number two is 26 to 30 years. To 30 years. YEARS. Then you add it and so on. So 3, 30, 31 to 4, sorry, 31 to 40 years. Oh, so that's not where you put it. One should be the value. 31 to 40 years. Add. No, no, no. Oh, sorry, three rather. 31 to 40 years. Add. Then you have 4. I'm just keying this one for example. You have 41 plus. Then you are done. You are done with that variable. You are done. I'm done with the variable. So, and this kind of variable is ordinal. This is ordinal variable, and then that is it. Then you do the same for the rest. Do the same for the rest, and then that is it. Then you go to your data view. Go to your data view and copy all that you have keyed there. Just copy them. Just copy, and you come and paste on Excel on the SPSS. That is it. Then you do your analysis here, of which we're going to discuss that next class. So I want to appreciate you for your time. That is that on how to key in data on SPSS, from your questionnaire to your SPSS, and from Excel to SPSS. Please kindly do well to follow this page so that whenever we are having our next class, our next module, you will be aware and you can log in on time without waiting for the login links, and also click on the notification button so that whenever we start the lectures, you can get notified that we have commenced our lecture. So thank you for your time. If you have any question, you can ask in the comment section, and I also want you to please put the name of your institution, your department, and your level in the comment section so that we can know you better and have your information and your institution. So if you have any question, you can please put it in the comment section of this webinar, and you can also put it in the WhatsApp platform. I will read from there also. So if you have any question, you can drop them now so that I will provide answers to them. Yeah, I'm with you if you have questions concerning my presentation, probably on your probably on SPSS, how to key in the data, or on Excel. So next class we will look at how to actually, analyze this data. Now we have a data set. Now we have the data and it's ready. So when you are at this level, you don't even need to give your work to anybody again. In fact, you have done wonderfully well. You have perfected your work to about, let's say, 80%. I will not lie. Even if it's not 90%, all I have to do now is to just take my mouse and be clicking and be getting my data. And I discussed all this, how to get the data, how to analyze the data last week. But we are going to do a repeat of it. How to interpret the data, how to uh, get the data and interpret the data. I mean, so yes, thank you. I'm seeing student of Labis and Imagine University here. I want to appreciate you all for joining. Yes, Elizabeth, Motola, everybody. I appreciate you all. Oh, from psychology. Wow, this is nice. Thank you very much for joining in. Please, let us all do well to, follow this page. This is to for me. You are all welcome. You are all welcome from the Department of Mass Communication, 300 level student. So for those of us who are in 300 level, you will see that the understanding and this knowledge of how to use SPSS by yourself will actually go a long way in assisting in your final year project work, because qualitative data is very simple. It's very simple. You can see with what we have done today now, to interpret, to code over 400 questionnaire will not be very difficult for you, since it is yours. And it also, the knowledge of it will also assist you even when you are doing your masters. It is still the same process. It may be that you will be doing some other, analysis, regressional or correlational analysis, but it is just still the same thing, the same process. uh Determining your questionnaire and the items on your questionnaire, coding them appropriately on the SPSS page, on your variable view, and keying in the data just like the way I've done now. You can see the one you are seeing on your screen now. This is the data itself. This is the entirety of the data for a quantitative study. For a quantitative study, this is the entirety of the data, and all I have to do is just analyze it and then interpret, and that is it. So if it will, the knowledge of it will be helpful for you, will be good for, even if you are not coming into academics. If you are going to be practicing, you are going to be doing audience survey and the rest, like this one now, it is audience survey. The one I gave to you, the sample, it's an audience survey. If you are going to be doing audience survey, it will assist you in knowing what to do. I'm not teaching you on how to do research now, but how to actually interpret, how to actually, analyze and interpret your data. So I'm still waiting for your question. So if there is no question, I will give us 10 minutes so that the lagness of the video will not, take some people's questions away. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. And those of us that are on Telegram, I want to appreciate you all for joining. God bless you all. Do well to, follow, subscribe to this page, and to this page, and click on the notification button. Thank you all for coming, and God bless.